Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Compositions, the show where we talk about music and how it shaped our lives. I am your host, Jarrell Hall, and today I have a special guest. He's a really good friend of mine. We know each other for a few years, and we actually met at a job. We both used to have the same job together. But please give it up for my good friend, Zogun. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, man. Just chilling like a villain.
Yeah.
What's going on with you, man?
Not much, just doing this whole podcast thing,
True.
Yeah. So it's good to see you again.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. We're going to get the episode started, and we're going to start with the childhood years. Mm-hmm. So, talk about certain, genres or certain, musical artists that you were listening to back when you were a kid. Like, what was your introduction into music, if you can remember?
Yeah, well, I know so just to give you a background, so, my mom, she was born and raised in Florida, Tampa, Florida. Mm-hmm. My dad, he was originally from Port-au-Prince, Haiti. So I kind of had two different worlds when it came to the music. So my dad brought the Caribbean music, like the reggae, the ska, also the compa music, like the Haitian music and stuff. And then my mom, she brought all the American stuff like Motown,
right,
all that stuff like that. So I kind of and then also was introduced gospel too through her too. So it was mainly, I say my earliest memory was really if my dad was around, it was a lot of reggae.
Right.
And then if my mom was around, it was a lot of Motown gospel stuff. So I think my earliest memory was probably one of the first things I heard was Motown before reggae. Yeah, it was kind of like that. So, and I remember, now this was back when, I know I'm not old, but this was back when people still had the record players.
Yeah, vinyls, yeah.
Yeah, they still had the record players. You still had and this was the early 90s too, where it was people still had these ridiculous entertainment systems and shit, where you had the big old stereo.
The big, volume dials and the...
it was
the switches.
Yeah, it was a whole contraption at the time.
Yeah.
Because I remember my dad had these two big old speakers, a whole entertainment system. Now the one he had, it was the one where you had the glass, case.
The glass door, or the case, yeah.
Yeah, that's what he had, and he had it was a CD changer, cassette changer and shit. Mm-hmm. And then it had its own remote and shit, and then it had a vinyl. It was some crazy shit.
Yeah. It
was some crazy shit. But yeah, I remember I used to listen to that shit all the time, especially on the weekends and stuff. It'd be again, depending on if my dad was watching me and my brother, it'd be reggae shit all the time, or it'd be some Haitian music, or if it was my mom, I don't know what it is about black households, especially when it comes to cleaning on the weekend. But know it was time to clean.
Exactly. When you hear that old school,
either old school Motown music, or you heard some gospel music.
Yeah.
You already knew.
You already knew what time it was.
You already knew it was about cleaning time. You knew.
I hated those weekends, man.
Oh man, especially Saturday morning.
Yes.
Oh.
It's you just got out of elementary school. You got no homework to do over the weekend.
No homework.
You just
I'm about to get up and watch my cartoons.
And play video games and all that. Nope.
Oh man, then
you wake up hearing Hallelujah. You're oh no.
Listen. It didn't last too long, because I think when I got older, we kind of stopped doing that.
Right.
But the earliest memory, it was every Saturday morning. Oh no, but Sunday morning, it was gospel all day.
Gospel, yeah.
You couldn't listen to nothing but gospel all day.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah, in my household, yeah, it was the same. It was the same thing.
Yeah.
Both of my parents, they were born here in Florida.
Yeah.
And but they were both were raised on just the old school stuff and the soul, funk, and
right.
and all that. And they both they raised me going to church, every Sunday and stuff. So yeah, definitely there was gospel in the house.
Right.
And those were still good memories though. I mean, because it was just, I don't know, it was just a lot of love in the household, and and even with me and my sister, we would like just run around and play, have a good time, and our parents they have these moments where they'll just play music in the house and they just start dancing, and then we'll just be having like little family dance parties in there and stuff. It's
true.
Yeah, it was a really good time.
True.
So going to the next phase, like pretty much your preteen years. As you got older, was there anything new that you got into?
I say like preteen years. That's when a lot of the rap started coming in. A lot of rap. Actually, yeah. When I said like around like 8, 9 years old, 10, a lot of rap came, and that was because at the time we used to live in this neighborhood called Nucio, and so they had a Boys and Girls Club back then. So it's crazy to even think about. But I remember they used to have like these little neighborhood parties or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like this like neighborhood community parties where all the kids from the neighborhood would be there. Of course they had like the food and the music going on, but then you'll have like, and this was like and then also it's crazy because this was also like my earliest memory of like Madden tournaments. Like when when Madden first started getting like hot.
Yeah.
And everybody was playing like that N64 and stuff like that, and like the dudes used to be like on all that. So they used to have that till midnight, mind you. I'm like me and my brother, we're like 8, 9, we're like there till like midnight, and we walking home and shit, which is crazy to think about now, but but I say like at that time, the music. Because we're from Florida and it was like the hood, it was like a lot of hood rap. It was like a lot of hood rap, I think. Mm-hmm. And then like even before that, like I'll go back to like when I started going to like public school, like kindergarten and stuff like that. I remember my earliest memory as far as rap goes was like Snoop Dogg and Biggie and Pac and stuff like that. Like that was like my earliest memory. But then at the same time, I mean, I guess that was on like a national level, like what you saw on TV. But then like in a hood level, it was a lot of like Florida bass type stuff, like what was left over from like 2 Live Crew and Poison Clan, stuff like that. What was left over of that, just right about the time Trick Daddy came, and like right before Trick Daddy, it was kind of like I'll say like the mid 90s, like what was popping that I don't know if y'all know it, but it's a song called Funky Wild Tootsie by the Puppies.
Who?
Okay, all right. If you look it up, you'll know what I'm talking about. That was how shit sounded to me around that time. Okay. Because the song goes, "Hey little mama, why you dress so funky?" Like it was stuff like that. Okay. Stuff like that, and and it was like stuff like that. Stuff you'll hear from like Freaknik around that mid-late 90s. Stuff like Scrub the Ground. Stuff like that. Yeah. It was basically we was listening to like Freaknik type music. That's what it was. But I mean,
pretty much like Tootsie Roll and
Tootsie Roll
and Shake What Your Mama Gave Ya. Yeah, stuff like
Now, mind you, when we was going to the Boys and Girls Club, again, it was like going into the late 90s, but I mean that was still the thing in the hood. Yeah, that was still popping. So it's like we kind of got that left over from that time. But but that was also when like Freaknik was like still the thing, and I heard stories from like my older cousins because they from Georgia. Okay. So now, even though they were young themselves, but they were older, they were like 14, 15 at the time. Mm-hmm. But they heard stories, and I don't know if one of them really went or not. I don't know, but they be telling me stories about Freaknik, how people be like going there and they be wilding.
I can imagine.
And it's like, dang. So, of course, I'm thinking, dang, by the time I'm 15, 16, it's going to be popping. Then when I turned 16, that shit was gone. That shit was gone. I'm like, damn, time for nothing.
Hey man, that's evolution right there. Music went somewhere else.
Yeah, by then it's like, all right, oh shit. Well, and then but the crazy part is like you look back on those documentaries about Freaknik and you was like, damn, they was wilding.
Yeah,
them people was wilding. Like wow, like the stuff they was doing back then, you can't.
Oh yeah.
Like you can't get away with that stuff now.
Well, I mean, I think it kind of got a little bit worse now,
I mean, yeah, but see, we got
it's a little bit more extreme now, Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but we got technology now. You got people walking around with phones and stuff.
Yeah,
cameras and stuff. So you get caught easier.
That's true.
You get caught, but I say like during my preteen days, it was like mostly rap, and then also I say we started going back to church also around that time, like when I was like 9, 10. And it was because we didn't have like a car or whatever. But when we did have a car, we started going back to church. My mom put me and my brother in like the choir and stuff like that. So that was another avenue of music that we were in. I guess going into middle school, I'll say like the preteen, like middle school years, that was when like music was like really, really heavy. Because not only I was in the choir at church, I was also in band in middle school too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I played that stupid ass French horn. all the 3 years of middle school.
Oh man!
All the 3 years.
It's better than nothing. I mean,
yeah, but I wanted to play the trumpet. I wanted to play the saxophone.
You didn't ask?
I did.
And
everybody wanted to play. Listen, I remember when. Okay, I don't know how they did it at your school, but the way they did it at my school, it was kind of like a first dibs kind of thing.
Okay.
And there were only so many chairs that they had to fill in the in the school band.
Right.
So you might have like 3-4 chairs for this instrument, or 3-4 chairs for this instrument. So it's like
the trumpets and the saxophones got snatched up.
Well, here's the thing: the saxophones got snatched up first because it was like maybe 4 chairs for the saxophone. So that got taken first. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I may not be a saxophone player, but I could be a trumpet player.
Right.
At the time, now I guess we had maybe like 6 chairs for a trumpet. Like, so I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna get one of them chairs. Wrong. So I was supposed to get the last trumpet chair. Oh, Austin. And that's my real name. So they was like, oh, Austin. Since there's not enough trumpet chairs, you could do something that's similar to the trumpet. Now I'm thinking trombone.
Yeah.
And then so the guy was like, yeah, we have this French horn here, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? and like I never seen a French horn. I never even heard of a French horn. I never seen it up until that point. And that jump was so weird, and even the way you play it, where you got to cuff it from the bell, and you have to hold it. See, it's like, even now, I know you guys don't see it, me doing it, but it's like, I still remember how to hold it.
Yeah,
like, you got to hold it like this, and you got to...
Awkward position.
It's just it was so weird, but I say by 8th grade, I was good. By 8th grade, because boy, 6th, 7th grade, I sucked. I sucked. And I remember, like, I used to get blisters on my lips.
Oh yeah.
I used to get, man, and then it's like my mouth be sore because I used to like practice and all that. But and then also, as far as rap goes, I just remember, like, I guess this would go into like the early 2000s too, like. Of course, everything was like bling bling and shit at the time.
Well, once Cash Money Records came out with that song Bling Bling, I mean, that changed everything. Right. Everyone was saying that.
Right. Like, I just remember like the late 90s, I don't know, maybe it was because of my circumstances at the time, but I just remember like things went from like booty music and then it just went into like bling music. Everything was like everything was shake something, then it went to like bling, and then and then
I think
for me,
I think the whole like booty music, like I don't think it went anywhere. It just kind of died down just a tiny bit.
Right, yeah.
And people were more focused on like the jewelry and the money,
right.
the mansions and the cars and stuff, But the women, they were always there.
Well, yeah,
always,
Of course.
Yeah.
And so I remember another memory I got. Remember, what was that movie? I think it was like that Nutty Professor 2 movie.
Yeah.
The Clumps.
Yeah.
All right. I want to say it's that movie, or I don't know. But remember when you had the VHS? Remember, I think at some point, like in the late 90s, early 2000s, if you got a DVD, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, before the movie play, they'll have like the previews, and stuff like that. So. And so at that point, they started putting music videos in the VHS.
Oh yeah,
remember that?
I remember those days.
Man, see, damn old, dang old, dang. Like, see now everybody just looking at YouTube, looking at videos, but like, I mean, like them VHSs, like they'll give you like free ass music videos.
Well, yeah, I mean, I remember back. Like in my, my childhood, even in the, preteens, my dad, like, he will, like, music videos, like, he'll pop in a VHS and then just record all these different music videos that were coming out and stuff. Like, back in the early days, like, he had, like, Bobby Brown, he had Al B. Sure, he had Gerald Levert, like, he had, like, all these different, like, music videos and stuff.
Right. Oh, I forgot to mention, too. The main source of music that I was getting, as far as like popular music, like rap or whatever, from, I say when I was a young kid to preteens, it was Soul Train when Soul Train was still on.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had this music channel called The Box.
Oh,
Yo, like I just remembered the box.
Man.
The box was everything.
It was. At that time, it was, man.
Again, this is before YouTube. Before you could just type any video you want to see.
Man,
like
we were still. It was probably before dial-up at that time, or it was in the middle of dial-up.
Yeah, it had to been like right when dial-up started.
Yeah,
because. Yeah, now...
Because that is super old.
Now, I got a funny story. Well, it's funny now, but it wasn't funny back then. So, Aaliyah had a song, Are You That Somebody?
Oh, yeah.
Me and my brother love that song.
Yeah.
We love that song.
It's a great song.
We used to sing it walking to school.
Mm-hmm.
We used to sing it in the cafeteria with our friends. When we used to go to like the after school program, everybody in the playground used to sing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember one day, they played it one time that day, and that was it. And so I'm thinking to myself, now, of course, with the box, you can request them playing the video, however many times or whatever, as long as you call and you pay. I was like 7, 8 years old at the time, I don't know any better. I'm just like, yo, I'm finna call, have them play this song again because I like this song. And then my brother's like, no, cause the phone bill, don't do it. and I'm like, man, I don't care. So I called the phone. Now what I didn't know is that I was on that phone with him for like 10 minutes.
Oh.
And I think. I forgot how much it costed a minute when you're on the phone with them. Mm-hmm. But I remember, like, the end of that month, my mom got that phone bill.
Oh, man.
And I remember my mom was, like, heated. She's like, and, this was, like, the rare time that I heard my mom cuss. Like, 'cause she don't cuss, but in them rare times.
In them rare mad moments. Yeah.
She was like, who the hell? She was like, who the hell called this number for, like, 10, 15 minutes? I gotta pay all it. Who that? And so I'm like, but looking back on it, it was worth it though. Cause that song was popping. Like even now,
you play that now, people still sing it. Yeah,
I could be at a bar or something or some kind of little like music event, and they play that. Oh, it's a rap for me.
Yeah,
it's a rap, man. But yeah, like the box that. Man, and then also, I'll also say, like, when it came to that booty music, they was playing a lot of underground stuff that otherwise you wouldn't see unless if you watched the box. Like,
right.
It was so much, like, booty music and underground, like like thug dudes trying to get their little career off and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like, I guess you would kind of compare it to like BET, like Uncut. Like that.
Well,
kind of like that.
I'm about to say, yeah, kind of, but it wasn't as extreme as Uncut. I mean, they had some real raunchy stuff, you know. Yeah. Especially, you know, when Tip Drill came out, that just shut the whole thing down. They had to say, nope, can't do this no more.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, and it's like I remember when Tip Drill came out, and I was just like, oh damn,
yeah,
damn. I was like. And I remember I was at my cousin's house. Now I seen that when I was at my cousin's house in Boston, because we was on vacation, and that Tip Drill video, like they was still playing it. Like I heard about it,
right?
But I didn't see it yet. Mm-hmm. And so I remember, like I was just like up watching. Uncut used to come on after Comic View, I believe. It was like. Cause it was like Comic View and then like Uncut for like the rest of the night.
Like 3 a.m. Actually.
Yeah.
And then some like some of the the advertising stuff where they try to sell you.
But before that, it's funny with BET now because they used to do the Comic View, then they did Uncut, and then they used to have some preacher guy. Oh, if you bring in like $20, we gonna bless you. It's like the most blasphemous like when you think about it, it's like so we going from like comedy to like ignorant shit.
Yeah, and then now we going to church. Way over there to church.
Like that's the one thing about BET. Like you know, like that's the one thing about BET that's funny to me. It's like they'll do like the little like raunchy like ignorant shit. Mm-hmm. Then we go to church. It's like, okay, so we see Nelly with the Tip Drill and shit.
And that's we're with Bobby Jones.
Bobby Jones and like Kirk Franklin. Yeah. It's like, wait a minute. Like, all right. I don't know if we want to praise the Lord or we want to twerk for the Lord. I don't know what we finna do.
Hey, man. Hey, you know, all the people that go to the club on Saturday night, they be there all night and then they wake up in the Sunday morning freshed up, you know, go to church and
exactly.
And they act like nothing happened last night. So I mean, that's just how that's just how we are, man.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but yeah, man. Like around the time I was in middle school, yeah, it was a lot of like band, chorus stuff. Also, at the time, I was introduced to like the actual music of music, like learning notes, scales, and rhythm patterns and all that stuff like that. So that was an interesting like 3-4 years around that time. Mm-hmm. I think that's when I really started getting into rap too. I'd say by like I really got into it like 7th, 8th grade. Like I really like got into it. Mm-hmm. I say right around a little after Jay-Z Nas beef, like when Jay-Z was like the shit. like I just woke up one day and everybody's like, "Oh, Jay-Z the shit," and I'm like, "Who? Jay-Z?" And then now of course people listening to this, they're gonna be like, "What the fuck?" People gotta understand, like, at the time, unless if you're not from New York or whatever, like Jay-Z wasn't really on people's radar like that, from what I remember. Because really, it was when, the beef happened and he did the first Blueprint. I knew who Jay-Z was, but I guess if you really want to pinpoint when he started getting big is when he did that Big Pimpin' video.
I believe that's when I started getting into Jay-Z.
Big Pimpin' and like that Hard Knock Life song.
Yeah, that one too.
Those two songs.
That was probably the first song I got into.
Because I know people like to talk about how Reasonable Doubt was dope, but contrary to popular belief, that album really was not popping like that.
There's a lot of people out there that will beg to differ, man.
Unless if you're from New York or you're from like that tri-state, like Jersey, Connecticut. I'm telling you, because Florida, like we knew, like if you was a rap head, you knew who Jay-Z was. Mm-hmm. But Jay-Z really didn't become popular till later though. The Hard Knock Life, because that was a catchy hook.
Of course.
That and the Big Pimpin' with the video. Because, see, the video was what popped it off, of course.
Yeah.
See, because by then it was like, oh, okay, Jay-Z, all right. But for me, I guess I didn't really pay attention to Jay-Z till, like, the first Blueprint. That's when I was like, oh, okay, Jay-Z, okay. Because it's like, I seen him, but I was like, oh, okay. Because, I mean, for me, because I think at that time it was still like, no, that was when DMX was the shit, and Ja Rule just started coming in, and he was just, Rule, baby, and all that shit. Like, everything was like Ja Rule. Like for me, it was like Ja Rule, DMX.
That's like Busta Rhymes.
Busta Missy Elliott.
Around that time, I believe that's when even Eminem came out with his first LP.
Yeah, Eminem was big
and
too.
there was like Yin Yang Twin. That's when when the South was really coming into the picture as well. Right. Like Ludacris and Yin Yang Twins, Lil Jon, and East Side Boys.
Okay.
Yeah, of course Outkast. That's when they were really like starting to blow up.
Ludacris. I first heard Ludacris when I started going to my cousin's house in Georgia on vacation. Mm. And this was maybe like, I think right before we came out with the first album, because they from Columbus, and they used to get radio station signals from Atlanta sometimes. Mm-hmm. So I remember, I think that was when he still had that radio show in Atlanta before he became a rapper.
Yeah, he used to be a DJ for a radio show. Yeah,
and he used to low key play his songs. Mm-hmm. At the time, I'm like, who the hell is Ludacris? What the hell kind of name is that? And then maybe like some months later, he came out with his like songs, and you know, and it's crazy because I got a lot of stories like that where like I go on vacation in Georgia, seeing my cousins. Mm-hmm. Because there, I remember, I heard Ludacris before he got big. I remember T.I. before he got big. And I remember Lil Jon, but he was already buzzing.
Yeah, he was already like making like hits before that time. But
yeah, he was already
but when he blew up, that was when.
Yeah, like he was already buzzing because he already had songs that he was playing. Mm-hmm. And I think that was right around when that B.I.B.I. song was out.
Oh my God, that song right there will make you go insane. For like, you want to fight something. You want to fight someone for no reason. Every time you hear that song.
That song will make you go to jail.
For real.
Like you want to just fight somebody. Like
you'll fight a family member for that song.
Like you just gonna punch somebody for no reason. Like,
B.I.B.I.
That song, and then the Move Bitch by Ludacris.
Oh yeah. I have that Word of Mouth album. That album came out when I was in middle school. Yeah. And I went and got it, and that was like one of the best albums ever, man. Like a lot of good songs on that album.
Now, and then also, I guess now we're talking about it now. I guess it kind of crescendos from like the booty music to the bling. And then if you was from the South, it went from, I guess, the bling kind of meshed in with the crunk shit.
Yeah, crunk came in that, in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And that's when really crunk started taking off.
Because when that crunk came, I mean, even talking about it now, I'm kind of getting getting goosebumps because it's like that was the kind of energy that. Like, nobody really thought about that, having that kind of energy with the music like that. Yeah. And I look back on it now, and it's like, that was the first time black people experienced a mosh pit.
Yeah, it's funny you said it because I was just about to say, like, it's like, it felt like they brought, like, that rock star, energy over to hip-hop, and then once you hear crunk, it's like, you just want to throw everything. Like, you just want to break this and throw that. Like, it just brings a wild, energy into the music.
And this is how I know that was the case. So, middle school, 7th grade dance.
Oh, yeah, the dance.
Like, this is how I knew this was some other shit. So, I remember they played that Lil Jon song, Who You With? who you with? Who you with? Get crunk, who you with? Now, again. So everybody throwing up their little neighborhoods and shit. And then, of course, next thing you know, man, fuck your hood, nigga. Then people fighting and stuff. They cut the music off. All the lights turn on. And then...
Y'all can't have nothing right.
Oh, man. And then, but then I remember when Move Bitch came out. I remember that was around the time they was banning that song from clubs. They also banned it from our dance. Because the first time they played that, people started... No, well, actually, it wasn't really... Like, the dudes, they were just like roughhousing, like play fighting.
Right.
But the girls, when a girl tell another girl, move, bitch... bitch, you fucking...
Yeah.
Oh,
it don't go so well.
Oh, man, they was fighting for real.
Yeah.
So then I remember... When we had like the next dance, like for 8th grade, they were like, okay, these are songs that will not be played.
They had no list.
Oh, I don't know about your school, but my school, like they was like, yeah, we're not playing anything from Ludacris, anything from Lil Jon, Lil Scrappy, nah.
Oh,
we
man.
ain't playing like anything that's like crunk related.
Yeah.
No, like we couldn't play even like early David Banner stuff.
Oh yeah.
Even like early T.I. we couldn't play. So basically it was just like and then also like my school's diverse. So then they also had to play like the rock stuff, like Avril Lavigne and
I remember at my school dances, like there was one time when they actually played I don't know if you know, but Gorillaz.
Oh yeah.
They even because that's when their first album came out, and the one song that was popping off at that time was Clint Eastwood.
Yeah,
and they even played that at the school dance. I didn't know that song at all. I didn't even know who they were.
Yeah,
so of course I wasn't dancing or anything. But I actually remember that.
Yeah.
But it was my middle school was like diverse and everything. But it seemed like no matter what race they were, everyone just loved hip hop, like everyone loved it, and that's what they wanted to hear.
Like that was kind of like my middle school too. Like, and then again, like that was back when the crunk thing was popping. Yeah. So everybody wanted to hear that, but because of that, it was like, okay, we'll play some rap, but not Lil Jon shit. It'll be like Jay-Z, Ja Rule, something like that, and then they'll turn to like. I think I'm so numb. That shit, like fucking like Evanescence shit, and can't wake up, baby.
Those songs actually came out. That came out when I was in high school. Actually, that was much later on.
Yeah.
But I mean, we might as well just go ahead into that next phase. So like going into your teenager years, pretty much when you go into high school and stuff, like what were the genres and the type of music that you was getting to at that time?
Now high school, now that was a whole different beast because it was a continuation of the crunk shit. When I said 9th grade, 10th grade, it was like a continuation of it. Because when I came in, I went to a high school here in Tampa called Middleton High School. They already had a reputation of being the worst high school in the city. They already had. Now, mind you, this school reopened 2 years prior. So in 2 years, they already had a reputation already.
Hey, man.
So my first impression when I got there, actually it happened maybe like a month after the fact when we had our first pet rally. I don't know what was going on at the time. It took me a while to catch up, but apparently we were so popular, we had fucking the local rappers come and do performances, and we had local DJs come in, and it was like a club down there. It was crazy. But now the first pet rally, this is what kind of foretold everything that was going to happen to me in high school up to that point. They played Nuck If You Buck.
Oh, yeah.
The infamous Nuck If You Buck song. Now, we talked about Move Bitch and B.I.B. Make You Want to Fight.
No Give Song was definitely that was a fight song.
First of all, Crime Mob, okay? That should already tell you what's about to happen. Crime Mob.
Yeah. Then
they play Nuck If You Buck. Oh my God, when I tell you, they had to cancel the rest of the pep rally. because now we're in high school, there were actual gangs now. See, these weren't kids that were like pretending or whatever. Like, you know,
they were for real, yeah.
By the time we got to high school, they was like really into shit.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like, Nuck If You Buck, everybody throwing their hoods up and shit. Oh, fuck your hood. Man, fuck them motherfuckers over there. Man, fuck that shit, bro. Nah, man, this over here, dog. Then next thing you know, like I remember they played Nuck If You Buck. Oh, my God. I was sitting with one of my friends from middle school. Next thing you know, we heard a motherfucker, fuck you, nigga. Bah! And then dude got jumped by like 12 dudes in the stands. Like, they was just going at dude. I'm just like, damn. I'm like, what did he do?
So let me scoot over real quick.
No, but that's the thing. When stuff be going down, you can't scoot over. You can't just walk to the side. You just kind of have to wait until you see an opportunity to get out of there.
Yeah.
And once you see that opportunity, you go. Because then I say, like, across from the gym, you know, like on the other side, then you had these girls fighting, then these other dudes fighting. Then people started getting on the court with their little cliques, talking about, yeah, we're going to fade anybody. What's up, bro? We're going to fade anybody. What's up? Then they had to cancel the shit. Now, this was at the end of the school day. Mm-hmm. So I'm walking to the bus stop, you know, because, well, when I went out the bus stop, the school buses, because I was bused to Middleton, because I was living in Carrollwood at the time. Mm. Now, I have family around that area. My mom, she grew up off of 22nd and Lake. My family grew up from 22nd and Lake. So I'm familiar with the area, but I wasn't familiar with the gang shit.
Right.
I wasn't familiar with that. And plus, the only time I go over there is when I go see like my granddad and shit. Mm-hmm. So I don't know the actual culture of the neighborhood. I ain't know nothing. I didn't know what. So I'm walking to the bus stop. So I'm walking to the buses. I remember this one dude who was walking next to me, and all I heard was "bow." Like this dude came past me. They hit the dude next to me, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" And I see some other dudes running, so I'm running to the bus. I'm like, "Oh no!" I'm like, "Oh," and then man, when I tell you, it took us like maybe 30 minutes to leave the school. Because they had to get the police. They had to like break fights up. It was crazy. Like when I tell you, like that, I think I say as far as the crunk shit, that was the height of it. Like the crime mob shit. And now, if you actually listen to that album, the whole album is a fight. The whole album, like they got another song like how did it go? It go Ellenwood area, fuck what I said area. Ellenwood, like the whole album is like chants, but it goes so hard, like the beats are so hard, and you feel like the whole album, you feel like you just want to fight somebody, like you in prison or something, like you about to fight somebody, you finna stab somebody, but I say after 9th grade, things got a little better after that. Because that whole year, man, I don't know what it was, that whole 9th grade year, everybody was fucking like everybody was trying to be like that dude. I don't know why, but then it kind of calmed down because then it kind of went into this like that D4L Franchise Boys kind of.
Lean with it, rock with it.
Even before that, like they had that White Tee song.
I forgot how that song goes. Honestly.
I was in my white tee, in my white tee, and then D4L had that but you can't do it like me. What?
Oh yeah, I hadn't heard that in a long time.
Man, yo, I listen to that every once in a while, and I'm like, damn, this shit was stupid.
Yeah, we used to like it though.
Like, damn, this shit was stupid, but we used to play that
all the time.
We used to play that all the time. That. Then later on, it was the I think she liked me, all that stuff. The lean with a rock with it. But also around that time, that's when I also started getting into the old school hip hop. Around that time, because I think what it was I think even I kind of got sick and tired of that D4L stuff, and you know, because I was like, man, this shit sounds stupid as hell, just some repetitive candy sounding shit.
Yeah.
So I remember one day I was home, and this was when they were still they still play, you know, like old movies on like regular TV.
Yeah.
So I remember one Saturday afternoon they was playing Crush Groove, the movie Crush Groove with like Run DMC, the Fat Boys, and all that shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, what is this? Like, now, as ignorant as it's gonna sound, I never heard rap from the 80s up until that point.
Well, I mean,
never.
Ain't nothing strange about that. I mean, there's a lot of people who, you know, it's just based on, you know, how they grew up. It's like if you've never heard of it, you know, while you were growing up, you know, you just you don't know about it.
Yeah, because really to me, I always thought rap was like started from the 90s going on, because I guess that's what I heard first.
Right.
But I didn't know how rap sounded in the 80s. Mm-hmm. So when I saw Crush Groove, I was like, oh, this is some different shit. And of course, it was like elementary now, but back then, that was like some revolutionary shit. And I was just at awe with the way they dressed, the beats. For me, I think it was the beats and the way people
the boom bap.
Yeah, the boom bap, the way people dress. Mm-hmm. And then not too long after that, I saw a movie called Breakin'.
Yeah.
And Breakin' 2.
I think that was because I knew, like, you know, rap was like old, like it started a long time ago, but I didn't really get into it and all that. But once I saw Breaking, I believe that's when I felt, you know, I fell in love with it hardcore. Really, just because of the dancing, it was really cool to me, and just how they, you know, were dancing along with the scratching and all this. Like, I was like, okay, this is where it's at. Like, this is really good stuff right here.
But the movie that really did it for me was a movie called Beat Street.
Well, yeah.
And to this day, I still watch Beat Street. Mm-hmm. I still watch Beat Street. That was the one that did it. I was like, that's it. That's it.
I'm sold.
Like, this is it, man. I think it was just the way that, for me, I think it was the way that they portrayed how. I mean, and I know it's like a Hollywood interpretation. But you still kind of get the gist of it. Mm-hmm. People like out there doing a graffiti, b-boying, DJing, rapping, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I remember, I'll say like around 10th grade, that's when I really got into that old school shit. Because for people that know me, that went to school with me, 10th grade, that's when I really started embracing that kind of culture. Mm-hmm. At some point, I started wearing like Adidas. Everything was Adidas because of like Run DMC and shit. So I used to wear. Now, mind you, of course, you know, at this time, everybody used to wear like Air Force Ones. Yeah. Everybody used to wear Jordans and shit. I remember I was rocking Adidas. Like, I had like the classic Run DMC Adidas. You know, saying like the black stripe with the white. Mm-hmm. That shit. I had the black and the white stripe. I had the pro models, like the high top pro models that was like all blue and white stripe. Mm. That was my favorite Adidas shoe. I used to rock them shits like it was like going out of style. But I was on some old school shit too, so then I started doing a popping and locking. And I think that's when I really started getting noticed at school, because then I started doing that pop lock shit. And I don't think nobody really seen anybody do that before. But not too long after, everybody, you know, started doing it and shit like that. I mean, I was more on the b-boy graph side of shit before I started rapping.
What made you, like, when did you start, and who kind of inspired you to start writing and rapping and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think I told the story before other times, but really... It's going to sound kind of cheesy, but the person that really made me want to rap was my boy A Sharp.
Okay.
He really made me want to rap.
You guys met in high school, or?
Yeah. So you know, me, A Sharp, and Sal, we all went to Middleton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's how we met. We all went to the same school.
Okay.
Now, at the time, I was still on my graph b-boy shit, and I was also beatboxing too.
Mm-hmm.
So now we all met in like senior year. Like I said, like half the junior year going into senior year.
Right.
Now, before that, me and Sal was already at Middleton, but we didn't really cross paths like that till around that time. I think H.R. I think he was coming. I think he came from Brandon High School and transferred. So at the time when I met H.R., I think we met. That's how it was. Yeah. So we met in this AP class. It was like AP Environmental Science, which I failed. I failed that shit like a motherfucker. I failed that shit. But I remember like so we found out that we had like a common interest in hip hop, and I was still exploring through like the old school stuff. And now he had more knowledge of the old school stuff than I did, because he was getting a lot of that info from his dad, and his dad got like a whole bunch of like old school records and all that stuff.
Right.
So then so we clicked on that, and so senior year, it was weird because then all of a sudden everybody wanted to rap. It was weird. Like, I mean, not that people weren't rapping,
right,
but it's just like. It's like you really seen it senior year, like everybody be like the lunch table freestyling, all that stuff like that. So A Sharp was freestyling, so I used to beatbox and shit. Everybody was still, making the beats with a pencil on the table and shit. I was doing it the old school way, and motherfuckers was like, "Oh damn, they on some other shit." They on some other shit.
Yeah.
So he started rapping. And I say a little after high school, then I started. Now even before that, I was writing poetry. So I kind of, I was.
You were kind of like getting into it, but just not music wise, but like word wise, you were like already getting into it.
Yeah. I was really into I was really deep into the poetry shit, like. My sophomore year, junior year, I was really into that shit. Junior year, I was into it the most because then I realized I was getting females' attention. At that time.
Oh my God, your poem is so wonderful.
And you know what's crazy? Like, I actually had that happen. I was in lunch one day. I was with my friends. And so this one girl came up. She was like, "Hey, so I heard your poem that you did at the poetry slam. And I really thought it was good. And this was one of them females, like, I thought I never had no chance with. And she just came up. I'm like, oh, shit, true? Okay. All right. And she was like, yeah, so do you want to, like, sit at my table or whatever? Shit. I was like, I'm out, man. I'm out.
Yeah, like, yeah, I'll see you later, homie. All right, I got to go over here.
Oh, man. Because she was like, yeah, I just want to know how you came up with your concepts and all that. I'm like, oh, all right.
You was really feeling it.
Oh, man. Like, it was crazy. And I think that year I came in like third place. So they had a whole thing at the school like, oh, here's our first place, second place, and third place winners and shit.
Yeah.
So right around senior year, so met A Sharp. He was rapping, and then after we graduated, I started rapping because I figured, well, I was doing the poetry anyway. Let me try to do some rap or whatever. And
right.
I'm gonna get into my names too now, like my early rap names.
That's fine. Yeah.
So I had a guy who used to ride the city bus, like my route. And I guess he used to see me like writing and like listening to shit. And he was like, yeah, man, I used to be in the industry years ago. I don't know if he really was or not. But he was like, yeah, I'm going to give you the name. Your name going to be Gum Gum.
Gum Gum.
Listen.
That sounds like an insult, man. Gum Gum.
So at the time, well, see, because I wanted a mentor too. But I was like, Gum Gum?
Wow.
Gum Gum.
Gum Gum.
And I'm so glad I deleted that MySpace music page too.
Oh, yeah.
Because I had a whole music page, Gum Gum.
man.
Oh man, I was so ready to put shit out, do music and shit. I was like, yeah, new music from Gum Gum coming soon. And I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I deleted that shit, boy.
Gum Gum.
Gum Gum. That was, now I go by Zogun now, but Gum Gum was my first name.
Wow.
Gum Gum. Yeah.
I like the current name better than that. I'm sorry.
I mean, well, yeah, of course.
I'm sorry, man.
Course.
Gum Gum.
Gum Gum.
You just see the crowd screaming your name while you're on stage. Hey, yo, Gum Gum.
Gum Gum. I'm like,
yo, GG, hold up.
now, you know, looking back on it, I don't know if he was a crackhead, or I don't know if he was just some random motherfucker that was high, or he just wanted to have a conversation. I don't know. But I took it and ran with it until I realized one day, that shit is stupid as hell. So I was like, fuck it. And so I quickly dropped Gum Gum.
Yeah, thank God.
Because I was like, oh, this shit sounds stupid as hell. Then, not too long after that, I named myself MC Scratch.
Okay, that's a whole lot better than freaking Gum Gum. MC Scratch is fine, yeah.
Now, I didn't keep that name long either, because then I realized there's another guy in the industry. His name is Scratch, and apparently he did a song. Now it's crazy because I was still going to like CD stores, and you know I used to look at like all the new CDs that came out, you know, shit like that. So he had an album that came out. At this point, now we're going into like 08, 09. I think he had an album, and one of the features he had was with Kanye.
Oh.
And so I was like, oh shit, this ain't gonna work. Scratch, and then my name is Scratch. Like, this shit ain't gonna work.
Right.
So I was like, all right, well, let me change my name. So then I went from that to Deadly Mime.
Mime? M-I-M-E?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Deadly
now,
Mime.
the concept sounded cool, but it was
silent but deadly.
That's what I was going for. It's like, I'm, you know, like, I guess when it comes to my style, I'm kind of laid back and silent, but it's deadly at the same time.
Right.
It's cool, but it's kind of like, to me, it just came off like a type of Pokemon. Like, you know what I mean? Like, deadly. Like, okay, like, you have Mr. Mime. The Pokemon,
oh yeah,
Mr. Mime.
yeah.
Then you got Deadly Mime.
Deadly Mime.
If he like evolved, I'm Deadly Mime.
I'm Deadly Mime.
Like that kind of shit. So it's like Deadly Mime would work if I was a juggalo. That shit would work. If I was like a juggalo rapper with like the face paint and all that, that would work. But it's like I don't do juggalo music.
You're right.
So it's like, all right. Then from there, I think I didn't have a name for a while after that. Then I went to Zogun X. I invented
and I met you when your name was that.
Right.
Like that's when I met you.
Now with the Zogun X, I did a recent Facebook Live where I explained how I had created Zogun X. Basically, Zogun X was kind of like a rib off of MF Doom's name, Zev Love X. And because at the time I was really into Doom at the time and his beats and like how he was rapping too. And also it was kind of, and then like the Zoe part, of course, I'm of a Haitian descent. So, anybody that's Haitian call themselves Zoe. And at the time, there was another rapper that was out called Gorilla Zoe. And he had that he had that song Hood Nigga that was out. Now I guess like for me when it came to him, he was one of those guilty pleasures. Cause like not to say that hood music is bad, but I don't listen to it as much. But when I do, there's certain hood shit I will.
Yeah, you will listen. Yeah,
I will listen.
Yeah,
and,
I'm the same way.
Yeah, and he was that. Like. And I mean, like, even now, it's like I listen to it, I'm like, damn. Like, just the song and the energy, I think that's why I fucked with it. Because it was like the energy and the beats. So I was like, okay, Zev Love X, like MF Doom, but instead of the Zev, I took that out and put Zoe, God from Gorilla Zoe, because I was thinking of like Godzilla.
Right.
So I just put like Zoe God and an X. So I was like, okay, yeah, that fits. That works. So for the longest, I was Zoe God X.
Yeah.
And that was my thing for a while. But I changed the name back in 2018 because then I learned that Zoe God became a street slang for scammer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which is strange, right?
Wow.
It's strange. Like, I don't know.
Like, where did that come from?
Yo, like, I thought I made the most original last name. I'm like, Zoe God X. I'm like, okay, nobody gonna take that shit.
Right.
But then you started seeing other, but see, it's more like a South Florida thing, you know, because we in Florida, shit, you go like Orlando on down, it's like Haitians like a motherfucker. So then after a while, I started seeing YouTube videos of other rap dudes naming themselves Zoe God, but they didn't have the X. They just had Zoe God.
Yeah.
They'll call themselves Zoe God, Smitty, whatever.
Mm.
But anybody that was into that lifestyle were calling themselves Zoe God.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, well, I don't want to be associated with that.
Right.
And so I was pissed too, because I'm like, damn, like this the longest I had a consistent name.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, fuck, I got to change it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then long story short, I ended up doing Zogun. Well, before I was still holding on to the X, but then I just dropped the X.
Yeah.
I just dropped the X.
That's just too common.
Yeah.
I think DMX just completely sewn that up anyway. So
Yeah.
anything with an X is like, nah, DMX.
So I was just like Zogun. Now at the time I was into, well, still now, you know, I'm into African spirituality, learning about Loas, as they call them, different African gods that, you know, do different things. The one African Loa that really stuck to me was Ogun, which is the god of war, the god of technology, stuff like that. So I figured, okay, yeah, let me just be Zogun. And I've been Zogun ever since. And so far, nobody has turned it into some negative shit. So far.
No one came and said, hey, you know what that means, right?
Right. So, yeah, because that Zogun, that really, took me by surprise. I'm like, wait, what? Then I started thinking, do people really be looking at my shit? Do people be looking at my shit? Because,
how would they know?
How would they know about how I combined that shit? So,
yeah.
God. Huh. I was just like, huh. Now, I'm not one of them people to say I started a trend, but it just seems strange that they made it to a whole kind of culture kind of thing. It's like, it's crazy. But yeah, but that's how I came up with the name Zogun though. So
right.
yeah, so that's like the official story of how I came to be with Zogun. But I'll say also with the music, like a little after high school, when we were trying to record, now myself, HR, Sal, you want to talk about whack names. Our first group name was Partners in Crime.
Partners in Crime.
Yes.
Very, very basic, and I'm pretty sure that was already taken.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Anything that's basic is already taken. So
Partners in Crime was a group.
Actually, that's the dude that made that Ninja Turtle song.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're from New
I had to think about it for a second. I'm like, wait a minute, that's that dude.
They're from New Orleans.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that till after the fact. Partners in Crime. So we was Partners in Crime. We was Partners in Crime for the first 3 years.
Wow.
But thank God we didn't record shit.
Thank God you guys did it.
We didn't record shit. We didn't do nothing because, boy.
But how did you find out that name was taken?
YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Because we were doing and I think they're still up, but if you look at Partners in Crime, we got a video up there talking about the death of Michael Jackson.
I remember that. I watched that. Yeah.
And then we had another video of me and A Sharp just fucking around at the pool.
Yeah.
Like, we were just doing kid shit
Yeah.
at that time. It wasn't really real music. It was just kid shit.
Mm-hmm.
So now at this point, we're like Partners of Crown the first 3 years. And we were trying to figure out studio shit. I didn't have no knowledge of how to go buy this shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I did some like old school shit. Went through the fucking I think I went through like Google, but before that I went through like the phone book and tried to find like recording studios and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up at this one guy's recording studio. He's known in Tampa in circles, if you don't know. His name is Lord Drag. He used to have a recording studio. It was really a house, but it turned into like a recording studio.
Mm-hmm.
It's still there, but I think somebody else own it now or whatever. So we go all the way to the back of the house. You know how C Skills had his little setup. It was just like that.
Yeah, he had a good setup.
Yeah, it was like legit everything. I'm like, oh shit. So I talked to him, and I just remember that conversation was so awkward because it was like the kind of music we were doing isn't the kind of music he doing.
Right.
We just had a conversation, and then I met 2/3 of the group, Yo Majesty, and they were like an all lesbian group.
Oh, it's 3 girls.
Yeah, 3 girls. Yeah.
Nice. Right.
And then at the time they were making music. It was like Shunda K. I forgot the other two, but I know the main one is Shunda K.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think Shunda K was there. I think it was the other two. At the time, they was making money, and they were known in London and stuff.
Wow.
They were more known over there than here.
Wow. Okay.
And because I had looked up their little background, and they had music on like the radio and the clubs, and this was right around when like the gay pride parades, they were really getting more popular at the time, so they were doing a lot of stuff like that. And so I met them too, and I remember not too long after that shit shut down. I don't know why, but that shit shut down. And then we eventually through my man Raheem Samai, shout out to Raheem, he hooked us up with C Skills. And so we was doing music with C Skills for a long while. Recently we started recording with another guy through another person we know named BC. We started going to another guy's studio named Mud. Mud Buddha. Mud is dope. Matter of fact, I know BC, he working on new music right now. And I know it's been a while since we went to Mud's, but I'm trying to finish my album right now because that shit's been like 3 years I've been working on it. And I realized making an album when you trying to have an adult life is hard as fuck.
Oh yeah, it's hard as fuck. You got all those responsibilities that you still got to take care of. Man, I don't have time for this.
Responsibilities.
This side project I got is like I want to do that, but I can't.
It is weird because now if you have no responsibilities, you can do an album in a year.
Yeah.
It's just that in my early 20s when we were doing music, I had part-time jobs and stuff like that. So I had more time to, actually sit down and write shit. But now it's like I'm working full-time at this one job. Then I got a part-time job over here. So it's like...
It's hard.
So it's like, it's harder. But, I mean, I'm almost done now, so I'm closer to that. I'm most definitely going to drop the shit this year because last year I felt like, as far as music goes, there was so much shit going on last year.
Of course. The virus just ruined everything.
The virus shit. And I felt like people wasn't really gonna, if I dropped it, I don't think people would pay attention to it. This year I think people would. Like they would listen, like I'll have more reception this year. Cause we already know what we dealing with.
Right.
And it's been going on for a while, and now people getting the vaccines and stuff now.
Yeah.
So I think people are going to be more receptive of it now. But last year, and then plus the other thing was, I didn't want my album to be associated with that year. Like I know people came out with albums last year, but I wasn't really paying attention like that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then so that also signified why I didn't want to put nothing out last year, because I know if I would have put this out in 2020, it was gonna get lost.
Right.
And people weren't really gonna listen to it like that. So I figured, let me just put it out this year. Pretty much that's where I'm at now, like just trying to finish this thing and promoting it and going back to doing shows or seeing how we're gonna do shows.
Yeah, shows that's gonna be further down the future. I don't see any concerts happening, anytime soon.
Yeah.
But hopefully once this whole, COVID thing dies down, we'll get back to it.
Right.
But
now, I mean, I know some people are already doing shows with the COVID going on.
And I've, in my opinion, that's dumb. It's like, dog.
It is. Well, for me,
think about your health and their health. Like, come on, man. I know you need money and all, but dog.
Right. The kind of audience. Now, I know you were there when we did that one show at a New World Brewery.
Right. Yeah.
That kind of audience, I don't think they would come out now.
No,
and
absolutely not.
and that's the other thing. Like, I know they're not going to come out now if we did a show. Because, people, and also understandable, people worried about the virus and me, and me personally, I guess us dealing with this virus for a year, I think people kind of got used to not being around other people like that. And then you're more conscious of, like just other people and if they sick and shit. And
yeah.
So, but I mean, yeah, hopefully we'll get back to where we was before, where people go to shows and shit. And actually, matter of fact, this year is 10 years of Chronogenesis being Chronogenesis.
Oh, congrats on that.
Yes, indeed. So
that's dope. That's dope.
Like now we've been together longer than that, but we kind of not observed the first.
Yeah, we're not counting that.
And crime.
Yeah, we're not counting that. You pretty much covered most of your high school, and then you pretty much went from that all the way up till now. So you pretty much covered up, your adulthood years. So that's pretty much like what you've been listening to. So I mean, I get it.
Now, as far as what I've been listening to now, it depends on the mood. Sometimes I listen to I think the last thing I listened to was like some Motown stuff from the 50s, like the doo-wop shit, Lil Anthony shit, Frankie Lyman.
Oh yeah,
shit like that. I haven't really been listening to new rap. If I do, I listen to like recent Lupe. Like he did the House EP last year. He had an album called Drogas Wave. That album was fucking incredible. Still incredible. Nobody talk about it like that, but that shit is incredible as fuck. That shit is incredible.
Yeah, Lupe, he used to be like mainstream. Like everyone was talking about him back in the day when he kind of first came out, but I don't know, just for some reason his name just kind of faded away, and he rarely comes up, but everyone still say how good he still is. Like he's one of the best. Yeah.
I also started listening. Now I remember listening to like the recent Nas album. Wasn't bad at all. I still listen to like your Kendricks and your J. Cole's and stuff. Yeah, I don't really listen to much of the newer stuff, and it's not that I think the newer stuff is bad to me. It's just that I think because of my age, it just don't. I guess
it doesn't speak to you.
Yeah, it just don't speak to me. Cause
I feel the same way.
Because it's like now it's like you got like like the little babies and the baby and all that stuff like that.
There's too many babies out there.
Yeah, just too many babies, and it's just like
way too many babies out there.
And it's like I don't think
you can't even keep up with them.
And it's like I don't think they're bad artists. It's just I don't think they're for me. I think I think I'm in a space now where it's like if you're gonna rap, around me, you're gonna have to say some shit.
Right. Yeah, I think that pretty much that covers everything up. So we can end it off with like is there any shout outs that you want to
Of course,
give?
man. Of course, man.
Any promotion you want to do?
Yeah, man. I want to shout out to everybody on 5th floor. Shout out to everybody, Murder Megs. Shout out to the Chronogenesis crew. Shout out to Block Banga. You know what I'm saying? Relly Rel over here. You know what I'm saying? Vicky was good. Shout out to everybody on the 5th floor fam. You know what I'm saying? My album 84 coming out this year. I'm still thinking about coming out with a release date, but y'all will know. Hit me up on not all social media, but I'm on Instagram, Chronogenesis, Twitter. I'm on the Facebook, Snapchat too, Zogun 3377. We also on YouTube, SoundCloud, Chronogenesis. We got all our music on there, and the Bandcamp as well. Chronogenesis. Chronogenesis is also spelled with a K, Kronos Genesis. So that's where you can find our music. And also go to fifthfloorrecords.com. So all the links to the music will be there from my group and everyone else too. I also want to plug the homie Murder Meg. She got a new beat tape coming soon in September, so y'all look out for that.
All right. Well, you heard it here, folks. I want to thank Zogun for doing this interview with me. I appreciate it.
Yes, indeed. No problem, man.
Yeah, thank you very much. I don't know if you already know, but I have a book out. It's on Amazon. It's called What Say You? So make sure you get that. And make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the like button and the notification button. And again, I am your host, Jarrell Hall. And this has been another episode of Compositions. And stay tuned for episode 4. Peace out.